Physical fitness and good health is really impressive. Sometimes with Disney educational shorts, they're really dated. Sometimes they may still be relevant, but are not the best at delivering information, at least to a contemporary audience. But with physical fitness and good health, I think this is pretty incredible, even for today. And there was one moment that really made me think, and I'll share that in a moment with a spoiler warning. And it also has a brilliant final closing statement. This was released in 1969. It's directed by Les Clark and written by William Bosche. I don't know who narrates it because that information is not on IMDb, but the narration is crisp, clear, and very pleasant to listen to. And as you can imagine from the title, it looks at the importance of physical fitness and good health. And most of the good health refers to eating well, but it also looks at how all of these aspects of health can also affect social health and well-being. So it does also touch on that a little bit. And I think over the course of 10 minutes, it really provides a complete package about the importance of health, how to achieve health, and what some negative practices might look like. And they do manage to deliver a lot of information in a really short space of time, but it never feels cluttered, it never feels rushed, and it starts out with some brilliant information about the human body. We have this amazing bit of animation after we have a series of brief live action clips of animals, which maybe felt a little bit unnecessary, but they were fine. We then get a brilliant animation of a close-up of a muscle and how the muscle works and what happens to the muscle when you exercise versus when you rest. This is all really fascinating, and I didn't expect it to go into that much detail. And then we look at the importance of food and food as fuel and what it can do for the body, but also the negative effects of eating too much food. And we then look at physical fitness, and then it touches a little bit on social health as well. And it is a complete package, and it covers so much. And there are so many great opportunities for learning here, particularly, of course, for younger viewers. But there are some bits that really made me think. Beautifully animated, so much information, and it's all delivered in a way that's engaging, entertaining, and easy to follow. And I'm very, very impressed. And I want to highlight a couple of specific things that really stood out to me. So I'll just very quickly say, really thoroughly enjoyed it. If you love Disney animations, if you love Disney's classic educational shorts, personally, I think Physical Fitness and Good Health is one of their best. I've seen most of them, still have a couple left, a couple that I can't find as well, but out of the ones that I've seen, Physical Fitness and Good Health is up there as one of the best in terms of the animation, in terms of how engaging it is, and how informative it is, and how thought-provoking I've found it as well. So absolutely worth watching. So I will give a spoiler warning now, as I want to talk about two things specifically. One is very brief, and it's just the closing statement. It's the last thing the narrator says. But there's also another aspect that really got me thinking. And it's not necessarily profound. It's not like this is brand new information, but it's something that just I found to be quite fascinating. So the closing statement is, and I quote, "Only you can make the choice." And I love that. And I know it's something that we always hear. If you want better health, if you want to eat better, you have to do it. It's up to you. You can make that right decision. But I just thought that was a really powerful way of ending things, particularly for young children. I think nobody likes to be told what to do, but particularly when you're a child and you don't have a lot of control over your own life, you don't really have that much control at all. So by telling the children, because they say it's aimed at children, it actually says at one point, you are growing still. So it is actually aimed at children. But by telling the young viewers that you can make this choice, in fact, only you can make this choice, nobody else can, it is purely up to you. I thought that was pretty powerful and a great way to put some control into the child's hands, because children don't have a lot of control, but they can help control their health. And I thought that was pretty great. The other bit I loved. I really loved this bit, but it did make me think in a way that's kind of scary. It's the part where we have the next door neighbour who's leaning over the fence and he's telling the children, you don't need to do all of these things and be physically active. We live in an age of modern conveniences, bearing in mind this was 1969. And he starts to talk about all of these things that reduce physical activity. We see him at work, just basically lounging in a chair and pushing a button. Obviously, that's not everybody's job, but technology does make things easier. We see him on like an escalator or a travelator, even the floor moves for us. And the one that really got me thinking is he pushed a button when he was in his car and the garage door went up. And it suddenly occurred to me, garage doors used to be manual. And that it's not a huge physical activity to open a garage door, but that movement of getting out of your car, hoisting up the garage door. It's been a long time since I did that. My grandparents, I don't know if they still have a manual door. They don't even have a car, so they don't open it that often. But I have had the experience of opening a manual garage door before, and it's not a huge physical exertion, but getting out of the car, stretching up to do it, and then getting back in the car, that's a little bit of movement. And if you look at every single thing that we do, washing dishes, one of the examples in this was just at a push of a button. And again, that's something else where washing dishes could require 10 minutes of light physical activity every single day. But if you remove that and just use a dishwasher, you're removing about an hour of light physical activity as you wash and scrub the pots every single day. And it just made me think, and this is 1969 saying, look how many opportunities for physical activity we've removed with modern conveniences. And it just made me think, well, 50-something years later, how many more opportunities for physical activity have we removed? And it's scary to think that once upon a time, less than 100 years ago, and it does sound exhausting to say this, but everything required physical movement. Everything required energy. And now everything is just so easy and so convenient that when you add up all of those tiny little things, even if each little thing was brief and didn't require that much exertion, over the course of a day, you're getting a lot of movement in and a lot of different movements as well. And now there's just hardly any of that. And that's scary. And they're stressing this point in the 1960s. It's terrifying to think how much worse that is now. Modern conveniences are amazing. But if we're losing those opportunities for physical activity and exercises that require us to stand or stretch or bend or move in any other way, we really need to find a way to put those back in our lives. And I'll be honest, I don't think many people, and I speak for myself here, are taking the time saved through modern conveniences and putting it into physical activities. A lot of people do. A lot of people love sports and going to the gym. But let's face it, we live in an era where binge watching shows on Prime or Netflix or Disney, probably should have mentioned Disney first given the nature of this video, that's one of our go-tos. We have increased leisure time because of modern conveniences, and leisure time is often most enjoyably spent relaxing. And that's a great thing. But as this cartoon points out, it can also be a problem. And it just made me think, and it gave me so many different thoughts about all of these amazing modern conveniences, but what we're losing and how much physically fitter with really no effort. Because it doesn't take effort to do the dishes. It doesn't take effort to open a garage door. Not really. But when you add it all together in the amount of times you do that, in the different ways you're moving your body to do those things, and we're losing all of that. And it's kind of scary. And I thought this was a really fascinating cartoon. And that would have been thought-provoking in the 60s. So to think about just how further along we are with that today, honestly, it's kind of scary. But it's a brilliant film, really thoroughly enjoyed it, very well animated, brilliantly narrated, and needless to say, there's definitely some food for thought here as well. It's absolutely worth watching.